Hi everyone, welcome to Film Log Update number 24, covering most of the films I watched or rewatched during September and October this year. So yes, as always, laptop in front of me, and just going through the films that I've been watching, over this time, and mid-November as of filming this, or a bit after that actually now, and talking about these films and getting potential conversation started for a variety of films. So I always like doing this, and also just to log my thoughts briefly on particular films. Not every film will be covered as always, but majority of the films I've been watching or rewatching, of course, will be covered. And at the end, this time round, there will be for each month, favourite first watches that I'll give an award to at the end. So yes, I look forward to that. And yes, let's dig into the 1st of September, and that was The Young Master. So this is a Jackie Chan film. He stars in this film, and he also directed it as well. It's one of his first, one of his earliest directed films, and The Fearless Hyena was, it was his debut fully directed film. But yes, this is it was a film that I checked out, and I love martial arts films. I do love Jackie Chan, so it was cool to check this out. I enjoyed it. It's definitely had its moments. It's quite hilarious. I think martial arts films like this, there's always something that I can get from them. Just campy fun, and wacky, really over the top moments. But I do really like that. This was a solid film. I think the final fight sequence, while it did go on perhaps for a bit too long, it was definitely something I really enjoyed. It was epic, and I love martial arts films like this where you have massive fight sequences. It's just in an insane way where it just goes on for so long. Again, perhaps a bit too long. Really, if I had to say, but to be honest there, but I did enjoy that, and Jackie Chan was very enjoyable in this film. Obviously the charisma is always there, and yes, The Young Master, definitely, not one of my favourite martial arts films, but I would recommend it, and it's very nice to see. Then we have the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I talked about this, kind of recently, and we'll be reviewing this very soon. It'll be up, and yeah. What can I say? I've said a few things about this, and more things to say as well. But yes, definitely a film that I really enjoyed, and it took me by surprise. For sure. And I was hyped, but it's definitely one that did, even then, kind of exceed my expectations. And what a lovely film to see, and more on the way. I'm certainly not complaining about that, and I look forward to seeing what they do next. But yeah, it was a lovely film. Just kicking over some films there. Honest Thief, a Liam Neeson film. Kind of action thriller. It was fine. It was okay. Not one of my favourite Liam Neeson films, but it's not really in my mind sticking out to me too much. Not much to say there really. It was okay. It was enjoyable enough, but very basic, just in that sense. But Liam Neeson, as always, very enjoyable. Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny. Rewatching this, I saw this loads as a kid, and it was a film that I did have great memories of, and this is a really enjoyable film. Seeing it again, it's great to do, and kind of bring the nostalgia back. It's definitely a good solid film as well. It's just Jack Black, of course, Carl Gass, together. It's so great to see, and it's just got some really hilarious cameos as well. Ben Stiller in this film, and just I think definitely the first half is much better. It does go a bit downhill in the second half, but overall very enjoyable film, and just nice to see it again. As a kid, I did listen to a lot of, especially the music of Tenacious D, and it was great to see this film as well. As a kid, and it's a really cool film to me. So yes, it's not I guess overall a massively popular film, but I am I'm a fan of it. So there we go. Steamboat Bill Jr., Buster Keaton once again. Rewatching this film, a lovely film. This one, I do think this is great, and I guess it kind of it falls close to the very good mark. It's not one of the very best, in that sense, Buster Keaton films, but it's a stunning film. In so many regards. The set pieces, the very famous set piece in this, which I won't give away, but certainly one of the most famous, if not the very most famous Buster Keaton, kind of stunt, if you will, and yeah, just absolutely stunning stuff. The day after that, I saw A Chump at Oxford, of course, a Lauren Hardy feature film, and yeah, this is a film that I did review quite a few years back, back on the channel. It's pretty 2018 actually, so my first year on YouTube. I did, I said how much I love that film, and yeah, it's just such a hilarious film and so charming. Young Peter Cushing in this film as well. Certainly great to see that, and yeah, just a hilarious film from start to finish. As a kid, it's certainly, Lauren Hardy. I always remember watching these guys, and it's just, it really made my childhood. So yeah, it's always great to see a Lauren Hardy film, and this is a feature film that they made, and it's one of the last. In some ways, well-regarded, features. It seems I haven't seen, a lot of the films later, on from this. But yes, A Chump at Oxford, is certainly a great film for me. Mariah, watching that again, of course, anime film that I talked about before, and yeah, it's definitely, because I didn't remember too much about this in certain areas of the film, so gave it another watch, and yeah, it's certainly, a really lovely film, and not one of my favourites from this director, but definitely, a great film, and lovely to see again. Dr. No, seeing that again, of course, legendary Bond film, and one of my favourites, one of my favourites in the franchise, and just as the first Bond film, to me, this is just stunning. Some people will not, do not take to this one as much, perhaps. But yes, it's very, very different. Obviously, From Russia with Love and Goldfinger were the ones that really, all the elements of the franchise, really came together in a very obvious way, and stuff. In a way that is more commercial and more fine-tuned. Yeah, better for me, definitely. But Doctor No, regardless, as this standalone film, really, as well as starting a franchise. I personally think it's a legendary film. So there we go. Seeing it again, it was stunning to see. Lightyear, a big no for me. Pretty bad, unfortunately, and. As a Pixar film, it's just very unfortunate to see that one. Boring, and just, really did not like this film at all. So there we go. Karen England, I reviewed that, and Karen Emanuel as well. So won't get into those again. Didn't like those films personally. Big Karen fan, but not those ones for me. Going through there, Dirty Russian Scoundrels. Steve Martin, and also Michael Caine in this film. Great to see the team up. Not one of the best films, Steve Martin or Michael Caine in it, but it did become one that I was definitely quite invested in. It just wasn't always working with the comedy, actually. Just the way it's delivered. But great to see, obviously, these legends in this, and it was definitely overall a funny film. I did enjoy. Ralph Breaks the Internet as a sequel to Wreck-It Ralph. A bit underwhelming for me, not bad, it was okay, but just a bit annoying, and it just, the things that I did really like about the first were just a bit missing here, or dialed up. It's become, a bit annoying, so it just wasn't anywhere near as investing, and obviously the actual, what it's about, didn't appeal to me as much, so it was okay though, it's something to enjoy. Sherlock Jr., once again, a Buster Keaton film. Now this is a masterpiece. And just one of, among the best films for me ever made. Certainly, comedies. It's just, and it's just an action film. As well, the stunts and just, the magic of this film. Wow, really one of the very, very best Buster Keatons. Not quite the best for me after seeing, all of his work. But that's just that's even more high praise for Buster Keaton. Thunderball. Watching that again, I really do like this film quite a bit, and. Again, it's not my favourite of the Connerys, the Bond films, but that there's some of the legendary films like Goldfinger and stuff. It's hard to top. But Thunderball, it has its place, in my heart. It's a one that's grown on me more and more every time I see it, and I really do like this film. Not overall a stunning film for me, but really so enjoyable to watch. Of course, and Elemental, another Pixar film.
a recent one, and did not like this film either. It was very, very boring and just empty for me. There was nothing really too much other than surface level things to get invested in for me, and just my mind was wandering. I did not enjoy this one. So yeah, Pixar has not been making films recently for me personally that have been exciting me, as a fan. Just doesn't. Yeah, it's a shame. This is not a film that I enjoyed at all. Really, so it had its moments at first, but very, very few moments. I was looking forward to it as well, so that's a bit disappointing. But we'll see what they do next. Three Amigos. This is a bit disappointing. Another Steve Martin film. It was very, very flat at times, and just wasn't that funny. There was a couple of moments that were really funny, but just a few moments really, and the rest of it was just it was fine. An okay film for me, but not a film that I was blown away by. Next up we have Blockheads, another Laurel and Hardy feature film, and one that I've seen a few times, and rewatching this, hilarious film. You always love how a lot of the features, not all of them, kind of have this, the first act, if you will, is kind of a short in itself, and then it's just kind of it leads into the rest of the feature, and I love how this film does that as well, and just the entire film though is just so hilarious and so charming. Definitely a film that I would rate very, very highly. A 5-star rounded, and one that I do look forward to talking about as well. Eventually, I say all these different things, they're always ticking in the background, they don't go away, but I want to do a ranking and a top 10 and kind of thing of Laurel and Hardy's, stuff like that. Perhaps eventually I will in some way rank all of the feature films as well as all of the shorts of Laurel and Hardy. But that'll be a while. But certainly always great to rewatch and watch as well. There's a few that I've not seen Laurel and Hardy's, and certainly the later features I have not seen any of. 40s, some of them and stuff. So Blockheads certainly among their most funny for me. Then we have Black Panther the day after that. Watching this again, this is always one that grows on me more and more, and a very, very enjoyable film, and also very investing, and just obviously Chadwick Boseman, legendary in this film, and I enjoyed especially actually the final act more than previous times. Just things that I wasn't big on, certain action set pieces and stuff. I was bigger on this time round. So yes, a very good film, Black Panther, and certainly great elements in this as well. The visuals, it's just absolutely stunning. And seeing this on 4K, there's certain visual moments in this that's just really wowing. So yes, Black Panther there. Boiling Point on the same day. Rewatching that, very intense film, but once again, a great one for me. Stephen Graham. A lot of people have seen that one, so we go next. And then, of course, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think I mentioned this last time round, but yeah, just one of my very, very favourite films of all time, and certainly in terms of the ranking, which I'll get up again, the Bond ranking. This is. Wait for the ranking. So yes, News of the World. Seeing that, Tom Hanks Western film. It was an enjoyable film. Off to a kind of a bit of an uninvesting start, but it did pick up, and it was a film that I did enjoy, and did it was a nice experience. Then we have The Emperor's New Groove. This is a Disney film that I'd never actually fully seen, even as a kid. So it was. And you know what? It's not a film that I loved at all. It's quite flat. It had its moments, but it was just it was one that I enjoyed, but just it was okay, kind of thing. It was a bit didn't do anything too stand out for me, and it was just kind of pleasant watching, and it was fine enough, but it was a bit flat for me personally. Then we have Sunshine, Danny Boyle film. I wasn't. This didn't really personally do it for me, actually overall, and it's not a bad film or anything. I was quite hyped to see this. I didn't think it'd be one of the best. Danny Boyle's, just looking at stuff, but yeah, definitely. But it started off, the first sort of 20 minutes or so was really investing, and then just kind of went off, and it was doing some really weird things tonally, and it lost me personally. I was a bit lost, and just didn't really overall enjoy the film. I wasn't that invested. Things to praise though: the performances, the use of music, obviously a very famous piece of music, and some at times just certain elements to this in the script, but other times it just kind of went off and it was very random, personally for me. So Sunshine, it was a bit disappointing, personally. But then we have Tombstone, a very famous iconic western, that I had seen before, and wanted to rewatch this one to see if I liked it more, because it was, when I watched it, it was a western that I watched and kind of enjoyed, but wasn't one that I remembered too much, in terms of what actually happened in it and stuff. And I wanted to see what I'd think of it. It's definitely a bit underwhelming for me, still, and Kurt Russell and stuff, just very, very good in this film, but it has so many things missing, for me as a western film, and it's just so many things, for me, that just don't really work too well, and it kind of just goes on and on and on, and it doesn't really sustain its time, and it doesn't have enough for me to latch onto, really, other than surface level aspects. So personally, Tombstone, not one of my favourite westerns. Then we have Seven Chances, Buster Keaton film. Rewatching this, now this is very close to being the greatest Buster Keaton, if not the very, very best, for me, and or at least my favourite. And it's just so stunning. There's a few that 3 or so that Buster Keaton's are very, very close to being the best. Rewatching that, absolutely stunning film, and would highly recommend this one. It's one of his best for me. And then we have M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. Obviously quite a big release. This one, a lot of people have seen this, and I was looking forward to checking this out. Obviously, massive Shyamalan fan. There's quite a few of his films that are to me masterpieces. A lot of the some of the ones are not too loved at all. I personally think they are stunning, but not all not all of his work is personally for me, and I think Knock at the Cabin, once again, it just didn't quite do it for me. It started off quite investing, but it soon kind of lost me, just personally, and I lost my way, and I wasn't it just didn't really do it for me personally, as a viewer. But yeah, it was cool to see, obviously, another Shyamalan film. Always looking forward to what he's doing next, and just always following this legendary director, and it was cool to see another Shyamalan film. Wasn't a film that done it for me personally, but certain elements, obviously, as well. I did enjoy him. Batista as well. Always great to see him in films. So yes, Knock at the Cabin. That's my thoughts. So now going through some of the films that I watched in October, of course, the month of Halloween, and it was really just at the end of September slash right on October that I started watching a lot of horrors. So of course, yes, the first one being The Omen. The original, of course, from the 70s. Love this film so much. Gregory Peck, as always, just so enjoyable, and so charming, as well, and just enjoyable to watch. This is a great horror film. It's one that I saw as a kid, and I saw the 2 sequels as well, and I've seen the remake. I didn't like any of those ones, but the first film really is a great horror film for me, and lovely to see again. Then we have Saw. Now, I will say I'm not a big fan of certain films that are really, really violent, modern films particularly. So no, I'm not going to be watching all of the Saw films, but with my brother, watching again Saw and Saw 2, and the first Saw film, I've always thought is the best, and it's the only one really, to an extent, but the first one being one that doesn't go into the just violence for the sake of it, just at least in my opinion, and kind of film, and I'm not going to be watching those again. Any of those ones I've not seen. All of the Saw films, they're not really for me personally. Just don't enjoy that kind of thing. But the first one, and yeah, as I say, to an extent, the second one is a bit different. Certainly, the first one's very, very different. It's more of a thriller. Some violent moments, but it really isn't. One of the there's many more films out there that are more kind of violent and gross out, and it's just kind of a very, quite an investing film, a thriller film, horror, of course. And just mostly in the one location, although there's different flashbacks and different jumping around. But yeah, very very much a commendable film, this one, and definitely the one that I do enjoy and commend the most. The second one is very underwhelming overall compared to the first, but it's it's just kind of how would I say this? It's not a film that I like, but I don't mind it, kind of thing, and it's not a bad film, but it's just under par for me, and kind of it veers a little into the kind of violence for the sake of it, but not like the other sequels that I've seen. But yes, that's the Saw films. World War Z. Seeing that again, I saw it, when it came out, and shortly after that, and I don't think I'd ever seen it again, and I always thought, the final act wasn't, that great. I was quite confused by that. Seeing it again, it's an okay film, but there's just so much missing for me. I think, the first, the way it starts off is very, very intense, and it's much better. And then, it does come together. Actually, I change my mind on the final act. It's better than the middle of the film. That was the part that lost me, and it was just too much. It wasn't scary. It wasn't that affecting with all these, hordes of zombies. But yeah, just it was an okay film to watch. Brad Pitt, of course, elevates the film. VFW, of course, very interesting film this, and just an enjoyable kind of over-the-top film. Stephen Lang in this film, and quite a few cast members as well. It's just a very, funny at times, kind of wacky, and quite investing. Kind of mostly one location film. So it's cool to see this. Yeah, in October, and recommend seeing it. VFW. Carrie, watching this again. The Brian De Palma version. And when I first saw this, which was actually 2017, I wasn't big on this at all. I was quite underwhelmed personally. Massive De Palma fan, and also Stephen King adaptations, but it didn't really do it for me. And watching it again, it's a good film, but it's not one of my favourite horrors. But I'm glad to have come round to it, I guess, and actually enjoy the film quite a bit. I do think Sissy Spacek as well is very, very good in this film, and it's just it has a lot of interesting moments visually, and some cool things that go on in that regard, and yeah, a fascinating film, quite strange at times, and not one of my favourite horrors personally, but definitely praise this one, and it was it's good to actually enjoy the film this time round quite a bit. So Carrie, The Cabin in the Woods, seeing that again. Yeah, it's not one of the best horrors for me, but very, very good, and just it's kind of very unique, I guess. I've seen it quite a few times now, and I think yeah, certainly some great elements in this. Overall, not quite a great horror for me personally. There's a few things that are a bit irritating in the film, and a bit underwhelming, but it's definitely one that I do really, really enjoy watching, and yeah, it's good to see it in the month of Halloween again. So yes, Cabin in the Woods, The Babadook. Now I think this is better than The Cabin in the Woods. I'm seeing The Day After. This is a great horror film for me, and very, very scary. This one, The Cabin in the Woods, for example, is a film that's not really scary to me. And other than the ending act at times, but I think the Babadook, this is really really, really scary and haunting. And when I first saw this film a few years ago, I was very, very I couldn't actually I'll be honest, I couldn't finish this film at night, and then I had to see the second half of it in the afternoon and day after. Yeah, it was just because I thought I probably wouldn't be able to sleep, it's one of those ones, and then, so I thought, let's just have a break and see the rest of it tomorrow, and kind of thing. So, yeah, and it is, it's just such a, it's just a weirdly scary film for me, in the atmosphere and the visuals and the sound design as well. So yeah, love this film though, and great to see it again. Dressed to Kill, Brian De Palma once again. I'd never seen this one, and yeah, it's not a film that I was that big on, but overall it was okay. It was it was kind of a unique thriller film. I much prefer the ones, the Brian De Palmas after this overall, where he really came into his own, at least in my opinion. Films like Scarface, Blowout as well. That's one that's a lot better, and The Untouchables, and all of these classic films. Some of my favourites. In Mission Impossible 1 as well. Casualties of War. He really became he made masterpieces, but it wasn't Dress to Kill was not one of them personally for me at all. So it was good to see it though, and it was very it's definitely a unique film, and it had a lot of passion in it. So there we go. The Haunted Mansion. Seeing I saw this when at school many years ago and stuff, and just kind of kind of seeing this on TV as well, and I never really was big on this, and thought I'd try it again this time round as an adult, and try to get invested. Wasn't personally for me, although it had its its moments. Of course, Eddie Murphy, great to see him, but it it just doesn't. It's quite boring for me, and it's not really a film that does much for me. So there we go. Go through there. Trick or Treat. Kind of from 2007. Yeah, this is a film that I'd heard about, and it was okay. It was quite enjoyable. Kind of anthology film that kind of loses its way in the anthology sense. I didn't really see the point of how it's connected at all, and it felt a bit random and rushed at the end. But overall enjoyable enough. It was okay, and it was it's good to see it in the month of Halloween though. So next up we have an absolute classic, They Live, by John Carpenter. Now this this film, wow, I love this film. One of the very best actually John Carpenter films for me. There's a couple so that I prefer, like The Thing and Christine and stuff, but They Live is one of the best for me. Obviously Roddy Piper in this film, great to see, and of course Keith David. Now perhaps I would take him over over The Thing, his character, because he's just even he's so great in The Thing, but this could be the greatest kind of role he has. Just so enjoyable, and the team up at different points with different characters in this film, and just the way the concept, the way it's executed, and just I think all the way up until really the ending, 10 minutes or so, it went too far and it lost me. But other than that, pretty much I have no complaints. Absolutely stunning film. Love this film. Roddy Piper, one of the best, as well. Wrestlers, turned actors or wrestlers that act, or have acted. Just definitely, loved him in this film. Great performance, and yeah, great film to see again. Then we have Come to Daddy, Elijah Wood. This kind of very strange film. Its first act, I was kind of very confused by it, but I was really enjoying it, and I thought it was a lot better than where it went. Kind of one of those ones that just kind of goes off personally for me, and it just became something I thought it was more. It was more than that, at first, and it was okay. Elijah Wood was very good, as always, but yeah, it was a bit of a strange one for me. Then we have the Hammer version of Dracula from '58. Classic horror film for me. One of my favourite Dracula films personally, and it's just so great. Terence Fisher directing, and he he's such a great director. The classic Hammer films, just hard to to find horror films like this that are as charming in the kind of theatrical sense, and really is such a great film. This Christopher Lee, legendary, Peter Cushing, of course. Wow, always great to see films with these two, and the rest of the cast as well. So Dracula, I've talked about this before. Love this film. From Dusk Till Dawn, of course, Rodriguez film, and Tarantino as well. yeah, a classic film for me. You know, just so enjoyable, and you know, it's great to see this again. I saw this, it was 2019, I think, first time round, and you know, I loved it, and great to see it, you know, in the month of Halloween though. So yes, just such a great film, and Frank and Weenie, yeah, Tim Burton, of course. You know, the kind of 2012 version. This is definitely a solid film that I found to be very charming, and you know, it's very unique as well. And yeah, it's really cool to see this in you know, the month of Halloween, and finally get around to seeing this. You know, not one of my favourite Burtons personally, but definitely a good film with you know, really charming moments, of course, in this, and you know, very you know, kind of sad moments. But it, you know, it's a really nice film as well. You know, just to kind of watch. You know, as well as, you know, being you know, quite a unique and strange film by Burton. But yeah, definitely, yeah, one of his best modern films, at least for me. Then with Pearl, of course, Ty West directing this film, and yeah, it's the prequel piece to X, which I saw and I absolutely loved. And Pearl, you know, really very impressive film, this one, and it was quite intense, but yeah, definitely, you know, one of the best, really, modern horrors in the last few years now. You know, I say that because I'm not, you know, not being impressed by, you know, the last few years, you know, in general. You know, for cinema in general, and certainly, you know, horrors, I would say, you know, Pearl and X are definitely standouts for me, and you know, kind of, it keeps me hopeful about, you know, future cinema releases, and at least in the next few years. Where it's going at the moment, we're quite unsure with cinema. It's baffling me, but certainly, you know, a director who really, yeah, just, you know, it kind of makes me hopeful, I guess. So yes, Pearl, The Hound of the Baskervilles, another Hammer film. Their version of this in '59. Love this film. Watching the Blu-ray again, you know, just a lovely, charming, you know, theatrical film, and love the locations, and just, yeah, obviously once again Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and you know, massive cast in this, and as Sherlock Holmes, you know, Peter Cushing is just so good in this. Wow, you know, just such a kind of charming, laid back at times, but very investing film to watch, and saw as a kid, and it's always great to revisit this one. So yes, Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, the last few days of Halloween, watching the first one again, absolutely love this film. One of my favourite horrors, and reviewed this, of course, on the channel, and the entire series, really. So look for that if you're interested in my thoughts. Finally, after 5 years, seeing once again Edward Scissorhands. For me, one of the greatest films ever made, and yeah, this is just it's so moving, so magical, and yeah, really, just one of the greatest achievements in cinema history. And there we go. The best, by far for me, Johnny Depp performance and character. You know, it's in a league of its own, this film. Just wow, one of my favourites personally. Bram Stoker's Dracula, of course, from Coppola. You know, this is one of my favourite horrors as well. Perhaps my favourite, you know, Dracula film, although Nosferatu is up there as well. The original, you know, technically being a Dracula film, although not, you know, an official, in that sense, Dracula film. But those ones, you know, a couple of others, you know, I really do love, especially. So Bram Stoker's Dracula, yeah, absolutely stunning. And then we have Sweeney Todd, of course, seeing that on the day of Halloween, the 31st, and yeah, I had to pick another Burton. It could have been Beetlejuice, but I've seen that, you know, quite a lot, you know, the last few Halloweens, so I thought we'd go for Sweeney Todd, and stunning film. A couple of flaws slightly, but very slight flaws. You know, really overall a stunning film, and one of the best Burtons for me, and you know, wow. Certainly one of the best modern musicals that I've seen personally, and you know, just absolutely stunning. A film that I really, every time I see it, you know, I love it more and more. And so now we come to my favourite first watches of the months, and for September, I will give, you know, a kind of a slight, you know, honourable mention, if you will, to Super Mario Bros. Movie. It was very nearly there, and I thought it would be, but then For me, Office Space was the one for September that I was just a bit more overall invested in, and you know, it was just, you know, this film, you know, wow, so enjoyable, and you know, just from '99, you know, this cult film, you know, kind of Ron Livingston in this film as well, you know, just yeah, so enjoyable, and I think, especially, you know, until the final act, you know, I was just, I did love this film, and you know, I just think. You know, it was hilarious. You know, very dry sense of humour throughout, and different moments as well that were quite wacky in this film, and you know, just so investing. Stephen Root, you know, in this film, you know, one of the most you know, bizarrely, you know, funny characters, really in a film, a comedy film, and you know, just obviously Jennifer Aniston is in this film as well. You know, quite a big cast here, and you know, it's a film that it's become, you know, this cult film. It didn't do too well. You know, it wasn't a massive success. You know, when it came out, but it is definitely got more recognition over the years, and yeah, just a hilarious film, and one that I was very, very invested in. The final act went a bit off and didn't quite. It kind of contradicted certain things and stuff. You know, I will basically say, yeah, it didn't come together, you know, in a great way. But certainly until then, you know, I did love this film. And overall, very, very good film for me personally. So yes, that was the standout one for September. Although Mario was quite close. And so for October, not too many first time watches for me, but the best film that I saw for the first time was Pearl, of course, Ty West. You know, I just think this was the one that really, for the month, done it for me. And I will say very quickly, you know, it's not a film that, you know, at times it was a bit too much, just personally for me. You know, it was a bit too, you know, gross and intense. But as a character study, and you know, as a classic feeling, you know, kind of film, you know, I can't deny, you know, I did really enjoy this one, and you know, while it was certain moments were a bit too much for me, overall as a film, you know, as a character piece, and just you know, as a kind of companion piece, you know, prequel to X, you know, as this kind of franchise as well that will be I hear more in this universe. You know, I think this is definitely the best one of the month that I saw for the first time, and also, as I say, you know, Pearl being a very hopeful film, you know, for just cinema in general, just making what you want, and also, you know, just elements in this film that are very classic, and keeping alive, you know, the magic of, you know, element of cinema, and yeah, where I've been quite dismayed in the last few years. You know, this is one of those films that you just kind of I look at and I watch and I kind of go, oh well, it's not all kind of bad. And yes, it was great to see this. I praise the director, of course, as well as Mia Goth in this film, especially. You know, she was so great, and you know, it's a very disturbing performance indeed. You know, especially as the film goes on. You know, wow. But you know, as this character study. You know, this is just wow. You know, it really is. That character and that what it's doing there, and the performance, you know, really is something else. Overall, a very good film, and the one that I did really enjoy watching. Very intense, but definitely one that I was very invested in as well. So yes, Pearl, very impressed, and that was my favourite first watch of October. So yes, Office Space and Pearl, some really good, memorable standout films there, and yeah, looking forward to the next one as well. This is mid-November, or after that, obviously next month. Christmas is coming up, so there'll be loads of rewatches for me. So we'll see how that pans out with the first-time watches. But yes, certainly as well, I look forward to Christmas and watching, you know, all the different festive films that I usually watch, and yeah, you know, look forward to hearing your thoughts in these videos, and this one, of course. What did you watch recently? You know, it'd be great to hear, and feel free to comment as well on these films, as many as you want. Have you seen them? So what have you been watching? You know, during September, October, this month, or just in recent times? Anything you want to say? As always, you know, about cinema is welcome in the comments, and yeah, let's discuss cinema. So yes, a few videos planned, upcoming as well on the channel. So look forward to that. But yes. Be great to do this again, and look forward to the next one, and of course, as always, you know, uploading to YouTube. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.